Less hallways means more quality real estate inside your dwelling.
These are facades that are exclusive to us. We've got this gable roof design. We've got a second one, which is more of a modern look.
We'll just have a double garage, which will shoot further out there.
Now let's have a look at the numbers. The gable roof design is about another 6,000.
When you get that product at the end, you are that north of $2 million product. Otherwise, just spitting out a dual occupancy, you can get it wrong. And getting it wrong can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. So,
welcome to the Development Tank, brought to you by ReadyBuild, the best value in knockdown, rebuild and dual occupancy projects in the market. I'm inside one of our ReadyBuild display homes where quality meets affordability. If you're planning a project anywhere in Australia, talk to me first. Scan the QR code or hit the link to book a free call. We'll beat the competition on price, service and value, guaranteed. If you're going to build, you're crazy not to build with ReadyBuild. Let's get into the podcast.
welcome back to the Development Tank, guys. Pumped for today. ReadyBuild by Little Fish. Here we go. We're looking at a site. Guru's back. How do we make it work? How do we make money? And that's what we're going to figure out. It's exactly where ReadyBuild comes to play. Please, guys, like, share, subscribe. Little Fish Network / get involved. Guru, thanks for coming back.
Good to be back on.
It's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks, but mate, you've been out on the hunt as you always are. A few opportunities here and there. Believe we're going to go deep on a pretty exciting little one in a pocket that we like.
Something a bit different today. Normally, typically we talk about projects that we've won.
Yeah.
Most of them, I think. Past, maybe even a year ago, but also maybe projects we've won the week before. In this case here, this is actually a site that's come to us off market. Well, hasn't been sold yet, obviously. And
might be though.
Yeah, it might be. We're still thinking about it. We're still talking to people, but I thought there's no harm. It's off market. There's no harm in putting it out there and just showing people, what we're looking at and how we consider these sites.
Yeah, 100%. So keen to get into it, mate. By the looks of it, we're down there in the southeastern suburbs again.
Funny that. Yep. Look, we do like this area. This particular site is on Howard Street or Howard Avenue in Ormond. If I just get onto Land Checker here, we can have a quick look and we'll see. I think we're almost 11 kilometres from the city, something like that. So pretty good spot, nice and close to the action. If we zoom in here, we're down here, corner of North Road and Nepean Highway there, Brighton East just across the highway. McKinnon Secondary College is just here. That's the main campus there. There's McKinnon train station just there. And I guess we're probably talking, a few hundred meters from Ormond Station there as well. So an important fact here is, I think it's Thomas Street there, down to McKinnon Road just here to the south. So that's the boundary for the McKinnon Secondary College zone. So
and North Road, I assume, as well. So
yep, it is.
Just snuck into the top corner.
That's right. So we're in the top pocket of the McKinnon Secondary College zone, and arguably one of the better spots. I think the Ormond postcode is very good, and you're in the school zone as well.
100%. And I'm just looking, we feel like we're probably far enough away from North Road there, which is nice, and quite a tree-lined street. And I wouldn't suspect that much of a busy street as well by the look of it.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not a through road by any measure. So, and I think you're right. North Road, was it 2 lanes of traffic both ways? It can get busy, but it's not too bad, and I don't think you're going to cop too much road noise there. If nothing else, I think you'll see here just to the north of it, there's a couple of double-story townhouses there anyway, so they're going to block some of the noise. Yeah. If there is any, if you've got a northerly wind blowing on a summer's day, you're probably going to cop a bit, but I don't think it's going to keep you awake at night in that location.
No, 100%. I feel like I'm seeing a bit of frontage there, Gav. Frontage ahoy.
Yep, this is great for Glen Ira. It's rare that you get anything over sort of 15 metres wide. So what do we have? It's 17.74. Now, all right, so let's just open up the stats here on the side. Now, the block is 593 metres squared. So it's a little small. Yep. But it's sort of on that boundary of what we'd be happy to do. The wide frontage also, I guess, makes it a little bit tricky as well, because whatever your front setback is here, it looks pretty standard to me, it takes up a bit of extra area because of the width, and that does take some area out of your backyard.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's definitely the case. And just looking at all the setbacks around there, I know we've got these new res code sort of changes that we're definitely waiting on that would help this scenario. But if you zoom out a touch, I feel like there could be argument, if you sort of bundle up fair few of the front setbacks in the street, that potentially you could sort of navigate your way not saying, you know, a long way, but maybe navigate your way meter forward and try and argue the point, always subject to council approval. But yeah, potentially you could there. But I think the upside of having the frontage, potentially maybe achieving a double garage on one, but then also your designs internally potentially get to just fill out a little bit. And as we know, you know, less hallways means more, I guess, quality real estate inside your dwelling. So
The living areas,
so like you say, Gav, pros and cons, but yeah, nice street. Frontage is always winner here with nice wide front yards and nice wide backyards.
Yeah, look, we get the second crossover in. I would say no problem. There is a small tree there, but Glen are pretty good. We'd replace it if need be. Don't see any issues with shadowing to the property to the south there at all. Yeah, nothing else really of concern in that area. Okay, so what we have done is we've gone to our designer and we've actually had, I guess, an overlay. So a potential sort of floor plan of how it might look. And I'll just zoom into that a little bit.
I think, Gav, great point, and I think I'll just touch on, like, any site like this with our ReadyBuild product that will be a ReadyBuild product, we can get an overlay done on within hours, you know, within a day. So at least from a high level point of view, you can have an overlay on the site as long as it is fairly straightforward, and we can start talking about what you can and can't do, which I think's a real plus.
Yeah, and this floor plan it's a Little Fish ReadyBuild design. It's something that we've actually come to ourselves. But what we also do is there is some flexibility there. I mean, look, a custom build is a custom build. There's no doubt about that. But this is very, very similar, well, pretty much almost exactly the same as what we would do with our standard floor plan. The only addition we've done here, because of the extra frontage, we've gone with a double garage. We just sort of moved a couple of things around just to sort of make it work a bit better on the site.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said earlier, you know, you've got a pretty decent sort of 8 meter setback there. I feel like you could try and argue a meter and put a meter in your backyard. And then if you do have trouble achieving that at council, it's not a huge redesign to shift it back a meter. But yeah, nice designs, Gav, as we know. The ReadyBuild dual with everything you need.
Yeah. And the thing is, as well, if we're comfortable with this, getting this footprint on the site, and we do get it through council, there is some flexibility there as well, and things that we can move around. Obviously, we're at the very early stages here. We're just doing our due diligence. We haven't even purchased the site, so
100%. This is we nearly feel like we're in a design episode here, Gav, but we're pre-purchase and we're already looking about what can be achieved, talking to agents about resales, all that sort of stuff. So getting all this information before you purchase a site is a real luxury, I think.
Yeah, I think it's great. All right, let's have a look at the numbers. So let's just have a quick look at what we're doing upstairs on this particular plan. I guess our standard go-to is we've got 2 options. We've got the 4 bedrooms upstairs and having a second living downstairs. Then we've got 3 bedrooms upstairs and a 4th or a guest master downstairs.
All right, great work, Gav. Everything ticked there from a ground floor perspective. Nice fun alfrescos and plenty of room to have some landscaping and some nice usable spaces out the back and down the side. Now talk to us. So we've got a couple of facades that we can have a look at, to preempt which way we might go, which is pretty exciting with this ReadyBuild stuff.
Yeah, again, these are facades that are exclusive to us. They're designs that we've come up with internally and with help of our builder. So we've got this gable roof design.
Yeah, beautiful.
And then I've got a second one, which is more of a modern look.
Yep.
Both fairly similar at the bottom end, but the top's just, obviously got your gable roof line and a more modern square roof line.
Yeah, love it. And then with the design we're talking about at the moment, potentially one side we'll just have a double garage, which will shoot further out there. But yeah, looking very sharp. And I think just great for people to be able to really envisage what they can get on the block before purchasing it, making sure their expectations are in check, and there's just less unknowns, which super important. These are big investments, so important that people can get their heads around what they are actually doing.
Yeah, I think the gable roof design is about another $6,000 for the entire development cost. So it's not
Beautiful.
Too much.
No, happy with that. $3,000 a unit, Gav.
I think so.
We can handle that.
Okay, let's have a look at the numbers. So it's been bought to us at about 1.7.
Yeah.
We haven't pushed on that. It's really just starting the conversation. So we get into these preliminary feasibilities and we're just trying to see if it's going to work. And then if it does and we get the design on what we want, then we'll go back and we'll do our other due diligence processes that we've got in place. And then if we're super happy, then we'll start to really rumble with the real estate agent. Although this agent is trusted. We've worked together many times before, so it's a pretty open conversation.
Yeah, nice, spot on, Gav. And to be in the McKinnon School Zone, to have killer frontage like that, Ormond suburb, to be dancing around the 1.7, I feel like it's not, it's not unreasonable. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Look, obviously it's not a huge block, but the frontage, makes up for that in part. But as you say, it's just it's a great suburb and it's a good area to be in. And 1.7 is great. You'd be buying in Bentley's for 1.7.
Yeah, not far off, 100%. So all costs are in there, settlement costs, buyer's acquisition fees in there.
So this one's set up with one of our fund partners, if you like. That's just how I've done this initial one. There's sort of the people we're talking to at the moment. We've got a couple of other buyers are looking in different areas. I'm looking in Doncaster and Bentley's for another one, and someone in Brighton as well. So this is we just don't have the exact sort of, customer that's come to us through our normal network ready for this one. So that's why we're considering it maybe for a fund member, or just happy to talk about it online. So in that case, we've got our acquisition fee there. The entity setup and accounting, that actually covers pretty much all of the costs to set up the project, set up a trust, and then for the accounting, the cost of the accounting through the life cycle of the project as well. So we actually take into account all those numbers.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Gav. Like all the BASs, quarterly BASs throughout the project, pulling back in your GST that you can claim. If your entity is already set up and you say trust, if you're using one is set up, well, those costs you don't need to incur. But it just goes to show the level of, level of detail that are going into these feesos, Gav.
Yeah, look, if this was just a residential buyer, that'd be closer to, I think, about 6,000. So.
Yeah.
All right, moving down now with this ReadyBuild product, the planning soft costs is around 40 odd grand. Our project management fee has come down. I think we've discussed about this on a different episode, where a lot of the design work has already been done. So our role is it's not as complex. So we're happy to pass it on to our customers.
Yep.
Our build cost. So this is turnkey, all right? There are a couple of costs down here for landscaping and fencing, but that's that with a small contingency, and we're happy with that contingency. We're at 1,444, so that's pretty good going for a brand new 30 square dual lock townhouse development.
Well, with a floor plan like that and a facade that looks like that, I'm fine with that. And to do that from a custom perspective, Gav, and not to knock custom, but we need to get our areas right when we're talking ReadyBuild or custom builds. But custom build, including documentation, right the way through, wouldn't 1.8 wouldn't surprise me at
Easily.
all. Yeah, a genuine sort of 300,000-400,000 sort of play between those. So super important that we get this middle space right between the bottom and the top. We need to find some middle ground for suburbs such as this.
Yeah, and look, you might be able to find a proper old school volume builder that's going to do it for maybe 100 grand less, but we've got a superior product here, superior design, and it's then also managed by us through the process. We're keeping the builder honest. We're making sure that the design integrity there, the finishes, the fixes, they're all 100%.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's important, that when you get that product at the end, that you are that north of $2 million product. Otherwise, just spitting out a dual occupancy you can get it wrong, and getting it wrong can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. So couldn't agree more, Gav.
Great. So we've just got our holding costs. They pay for the land. The fund investor would pay for the land in cash. So there's just interest on the actual holding costs for the build. Moving down now, we've got in here resales around 2,150. I've got comps that are well above that. Maybe for a slightly more custom design. I'd say it's going to be a whole lot better than what we're going to build here, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Looking at the finishes and the schedules that we've put together for these, I think it's still going to be quite easily up around the early twos. It's as we stand here now, the market is soft, and it's really hard to see that. And if we were selling it today, maybe that might be a bit of a push.
Yeah, 100%. I think when we get inside these markets like we are, the pricing is really hard to sell. We've got properties on the market for sale at the moment. So we definitely need something to change, whether it's rates and, things like this. So, but if you go in really, really pessimistic the way the market is now, you need to have some foresight to be able to go, hey, what's something really worth? And otherwise you're not going to buy these troughs. So that's the trick, right?
If you've got townhouses like this selling up the road for comfortably 2-3s at the moment, think, oh look, we're singing in the rain here, there's money for days. You're buying this like for 1.9.
You're
not buying it for 1.7.
Correct. So I think, I guess more of a body of work of understanding what these townhouses are worth in these locations, in these school zones. I think it's important because, yeah, you go to the trough and you go to the, where actually prices maybe are right now. You're not going to act. You're not going to play in this game.
Well, here's an example, and we're probably not going to go through a bunch of comps today, but this is just one example. And look, it's actually a pretty good comp because we're just over here to the left. So this property here, 36B Wheeler Street, sold in February this year. So still very soft market.
Yeah.
For 3.4?
I think, yeah, one was maybe
2.4, excuse me, 2.4 mil.
Yeah, 2.4 and closer to 2.3. So yeah,
there was both of them sold.
Proper results.
And look, some good cabinetry there, some nice stone. Let's say the fireplace is probably an extra $5 or so grand, maybe a bit more. Bit of land out the back, so this is going to be a bigger lot as well.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So definitely well appointed, but definitely still in the range of what we're going to deliver.
But
and then slightly bigger block. Yeah, 100%, and in a reasonably flat market. So you got to be able to read between the lines, pull the comparables in, back your own product. I didn't see a double garage in one of those. We're going to deliver a double garage. So yeah, it's drawing a line through it. And the thing is, if we're playing in a good market, I wouldn't be surprised to be in and around that optimistic zone if the market can pick up. But it does take some fortitude to be able to sort of dive in and understand the true value of something rather than buying into the trough and looking too far into it.
Yeah, well, that sold for 2.4, and then the other property sold, I think, 3 to 6 months before that for 2.35. So you could just say, oh, it's going to be 2.3, but as you say, you've got to be realistic about it, and we're not going to be delivering as probably polished. I don't know. It's compared to that, look good. I mean, it had some nice cabinetry and some of the bits in there. Maybe a couple of add-ons, but I think the finishes and definitely the colorways will be better in ours. I think for sure. But being realistic, slightly smaller land. I think that 215 is pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's fair. No, that's fair, and delivering a reasonable result. And like I said, double garage. You don't often see the double garages in the townhouse in and around Glen Ira for that reason. That the frontages aren't usually as big. So nice work, Gav. We'll be on the phones to see if anyone wants to sort of pick this one up. But I think a great opportunity. As we always say, the school zone is that insulation blanket, and hopefully in 20 months' time, playing in a better market.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be that much better. I think 215 would be pretty comfortable. You put in there 2 to 4 rate cuts, and all of a sudden the headlines in major media is singing a different song, and everyone's out buying property. I think that's it's not unlikely.
Yeah, 100%, Gav. Great work, mate. You're always looking for opportunities for our clients, and this is just one that you come by that we wanted to talk about. So thanks for your help, and good luck on the hunt for some other opportunities in this down market.
Well, hopefully we get to catch up again soon, and I can tell you about how we picked it up for a song, and we're doing a great project.
Nice work, Gav. Love it. Perfect, mate. Back to finding the sites, and we'll probably see you in a couple of weeks.
See you soon.
Awesome, guys. Anyone that's going to get value out of that, please like, share, subscribe. Remember, ReadyBuild, it's on fire. This is how these are stacking up. ReadyBuild, buy little fish. Happy developing.